Welcome back, all my Minecraftian friends. This is going to be a little different. This is going to be the player update for episode 3 of the Minecraft Hardcore Challenge of August 2015, Equestrian Estate. But it's also going to be my episode 3.5 of my world. And what episode 3.5 is the episode between episode 3 and episode 4. Let me get into the world and I will explain what I mean. Okay. When I started this this month, I didn't skip day 0. And the F3 counter here, where it says day 3, when it should say day 4, is really bugging me. So I had an idea when I saw that all my wheat was grown. You see, every bit of my wheat is already grown. So if I don't plant any new wheat and this just sits here, then that is not going to make any difference. Okay. There's not going to be any, AFK crop growth because it's already grown. There's no ungrown crop to grow. So, what I thought I would do is just hang out and do nothing until it rolls over to day 4 on the little display, and then that way my day counter and my episode count would match, and I could keep track of it better. And I thought, well, while I'm sitting here waiting for this to roll over, I might as well do the player update at the same time. So, let me get to a safe place where I can watch the sun come up. I think I'd like to find a wall somewhere and just... maybe over here. Just pop into the wall here. Do I have my inventory's full, so I can't do anything like that. Okay, well, let's see. Let me just sit over here and then put one of these down here. Let's see. That way I'll be safe from everything except baby zombies. So we just had to risk the baby zombie situation. And okay. So this is me waiting. Now let's get to the list. Okay. There was one death, one unfortunate death actually two deaths in episode 3. But let's start with Jagaz's mom. Jagaz's mom cut down some trees to get wood. She did some farming and she did some mining. Okay. Next we have Granny's Got Game. She collected sand. She made a farm, but her farm is dark. That means it has no torches, so it's only growing in the daytime, it's not growing at night. So it's not nearly as efficient as mine is over there. And at night she did mining. Next is Smithy MC. In day 3, he captured the far zombie dungeon, the one at 770, and he made himself full armor. And at the end of episode 3, he rode his horse into the village that is near the far dungeon. He didn't explore much of the village, but it's a doggone big village. I don't think there's a blacksmith there, but there's a lot of crops and houses and libraries and stuff. Next we have the team of Optimus 1971, Piker Eyes, and Scody Garbitas. They collected enough iron in day 3 to make full armor. They did some potato farming in the skeleton dungeon that they found over there. See, Technoscribe was telling me that there's 2 dungeons over there, one over the other, but I haven't seen both dungeons in the same world in anyone's episode, so I remain skeptical, but still open to the possibility. Okay, so they used the bone meal to farm a bunch of potatoes while they were still inside the skeleton dungeon, after they captured it, of course, and got themselves plenty of food. Then they cooked the potatoes. Not all of them. Optimus saved 3 so that they can plant later. Then they made their way back to the this area here, the spawn area. Then I think, see, Scody got a horse, Pike Rise got a horse. I didn't see Optimus get a horse. But then they started building. They started building their stuff. Building their stables. Okay? And Optimus made a potato farm with some of the potatoes that they hadn't cooked. Okay, next we have Technoscribe. Technoscribe, in episode 3, expanded her farm, making it much larger than it was, because she needs lots of wheat. She started building her stables, and at nighttime she was getting a lot of mob action on the outside, so she made a murder hole on one side and was killing them through the hole from the inside. Next we have the team of Lightbringer and Heatherbee. They visited the village, collected a actually I think just Lightbringer visited the village, Heatherbee didn't. He collected lots of vegetables and books. Then he returned to the spawn area where they did some stuff. I can't remember what they did exactly. Fought some mobs, had some stuff blowing up, but they haven't decided where they're going to, or maybe they have and they're just not there yet. They did not put down chests and empty their inventories. Their inventories are still slap full, so soon they need to figure out where they're going to build and empty their inventories. My inventory's slap full too, so I have nothing to say about that. Next we have Cherry Bitters. Cherry Bitters went to the surface dungeon and captured it and then turned it into a temporary base. She says she's going to make Pony Express stations across the world. So maybe this will be station number 1. Or as Minecraft counts, station 0. I don't know. Anyway, she went outside and got a horse. She also found pumpkins. She cut some wood. Well, she was trying to cut wood at night, spruce wood, but she kept getting interrupted. Then she went back and did some mining, and after she mined a little bit, she decided to grind zombies to get a carrot. She didn't get a carrot though, but she did get some zombie flesh. Next we have New Azusa. New Azusa did some fencing. He fenced both sides of his path from his house down to the river. He did a lot of fishing. He's got plenty of fish now, no food problems. He's got like 6 fish in his inventory. He killed an Enderman right outside his front door. So he's having a good time. Next we have Conquering. Conquering captured the spider dungeon on her episode 3, which is the same thing I did. I captured the spider dungeon on episode 3. She came up and got a horse. She's ahead of me there. I haven't done that. She made a corral for the horse. She did some fishing, and she built an additional underground farm. Okay. Next we have Ron Smalek. Ron Smalek collected sand for, I guess, for glass. He also collected flowers for dye. He found some red mushrooms, which he was pretty excited about. He went looking for pumpkins. He didn't find them, but he did collect some eggs from some chickens, and then he was killed by an Enderman. Yeah, well, I mean, he fought some zombies and some skeletons first, and they wore him down a little bit, and then the Enderman finished him off. So, Ron Smalek is out. Hopefully he comes back for next month, where we will be seeing who dies first. I think the big question next month in September is going to be who dies first. Okay? Can't wait to find out. Of course, nobody dies on day 1 if we skip day 0. Next we have Lefarian. Lefarian cut down trees to get wood. He also got some apples out of the deal. He made bread because his wheat's coming in. He started building a stable with 3 stall stable. He killed Enderman. He collected sand, and he collected clay. So he's got big building plans, building something fancy. Next we have Bong Bong. That's spelled with 8s instead of B's. Bong Bong, of course, I don't know how you pronounce it with 8s, so I'm going to pronounce it with B's. So he cut down trees to get wood. He also got some apples. He made pie, so he's doing good on food. He also made bread. So this guy's just overflowing with food. And he worked on his stables. Next we have John Fall 92. He built a corral. He made pie also. He also has melon slices. So he's already planted his melon seeds, and they're growing. He got some more horses, and he put a chicken in a pit. Next we have Jade LF. Jade cut down trees to get wood. Went to visit the surface dungeon. She captured the surface dungeon, the zombie dungeon that Baker Bell found. Then she came back. Well, not came back. Then she went over to the coordinates for the spider dungeon and captured it. And in the process, she discovered that there was a spider jockey in the spider dungeon, and as the spider climbed up to the roof, it suffocated the skeleton on its back. So that was pretty cool. I didn't know that would work, but that's nice a nice little bit of trivia to know. So, see, the MHC is a real learning experience, even for me. Well, I don't know, I say even for me as if I was some kind of expert, which I'm not. Okay, next we have Andy Doan. Andy Doan cut down trees to get wood, and he started building his barn. He's calling it a barn. It might be a stable. I don't know. We'll see. I guess a stable is where you keep horses, and a barn is where you keep, I guess, wheat blocks, and other animals. Maybe you could put a horse in a barn. I don't know. Anyway, next we have Life with Teens. Life with Teens made bread, captured the spider dungeon, and then went exploring in the abandoned mine. Toward the end of her episode, she found a chest in the abandoned mine. She didn't seem to be too excited about finding it, but I think it has seeds for melons and pumpkins in it, so that could come in handy later. Next we have Tim Obert. also known as Captain Hook 5150. Now, he is one of the few players that are still having food issues. His whole episode 3, he was struggling with food. He started cutting down trees because his health was down and he didn't have enough food to regen, but he didn't get any apples, or he got one apple, I think, but it wasn't enough to regen. His farm outside by the river has no torches, so it's not growing very fast. He built an indoor farm, very tiny, only three wheat, and it doesn't have any water, so it's growing slow also. Then he did some mining, and he finished his episode with no food and no regening. He got his health back up to about half, but he's going to have to get some food pretty soon. Next we have OG and Friends. Lots of friends. In the OG and Friends world, nobody died in episode 3. Okay? They added a lot of fencing, they worked on the stable, and they are the first people to have an enchanting table this month. Okay, so next we have Badheart MC. Badheart put a fence around his farm because the rabbits were trampling it, and he led the rabbits away using a dandelion. That was pretty cool to see. I didn't know about that. I mean, I had heard rumors of it, but I hadn't seen it, let's say. Okay, then he went to the surface zombie dungeon, Baker Bell's zombie dungeon, conquered it, got the stuff, and then he went to the far zombie dungeon, which is at 770, and he went on top and dug straight down, and he didn't find the skeleton dungeon, he just found the zombie dungeon, which, seems to me would be evidence that you get one or the other, but not both, and that there's some difference in Scody's world. Okay, next we have Johnny Raichu. Johnny Raichu started out his day 3 still in the nether, although he did come back pretty early in his episode. Then he got horses, more than one. He made a brewing stand, which is the first brewing stand in the MHC this month. He made a farm, he made pie, and at the end of his episode he was herding sheep back to his area. Next we have Nova Cookie 232. Let's see, is it not day 4 yet? Okay. Nova Cookie 232 there it is, day 4. Okay, so let me pause this so that it doesn't go anymore, and I'll finish the list. Okay. So, Nova Cookie 232. He cut down trees to get wood, because you need a lot of wood in this month for all the building. And then he started fencing. Next we have Philbin 3. Philbin 3 also cut down trees to get wood. He started building his stables. He did some mining, and he's making a 2-block wide staircase going down into the ground, and he's spending a lot of time doing that. It does look nice, but I'm not convinced that it's worth the amount of time that it takes. He could be going to these dungeons and getting, saddles, but he's spending time making a fancy staircase. Okay, but one of the nice things about the MHC is that you get to see all different approaches and different ways of doing things, and everybody does it their own way. Next we have Boonslayer. Boonslayer captured the spider dungeon and got the bread out of the spider dungeon, so he now has food. So congratulations, Boonslayer. on the food situation. Hopefully his farms will start producing before his wheat runs out. Before his bread runs out that he collected from the chests. Next we have Stormbringer. Stormbringer captured the surface dungeon, Baker Bell's dungeon, and then he made a pumpkin farm. So he wants to grow pumpkins for pumpkin pie, maybe for jack-o'-lanterns, I don't know what else. Next we have Baker Bell. Baker Bell spent the first part of her episode caving. I think she was looking for iron. I'm not sure. She came up and a couple of horses were trampling her crops. She wasn't too happy about that. Then she went cutting wood, cutting trees to get wood. Then she went back to her surface dungeon, the one that she discovered in the Load Central world, and did some zombie grinding, but she did not get a carrot. No carrot yet. Okay. Finally, we have Load Central. Load Central did a lot of fishing, did some zombie grinding. Their wheat farm is very large and very productive, very efficient, and they are getting a lot of wheat from it. So food-wise, between the fish and the wheat, they are not having problems food-wise, but they are having problems mob-wise, as Rachel was shot by a skeleton and killed. So GG Rachel. I hope you all come back next month. Thanks for playing, and this is Mike Deering signing out.